And I'm not talking about time management systems necessarily, but I have a question. How many of you have ever felt a little bit out of balance with all that you talk about?
Nobody here.
Hey, me too. So today I want to talk a little bit about how do we find balance between our business, our family life, and our personal life. And a few things that I've come across and learned over the years. One of the most important lessons I think that we need to learn is how to figure out how to bring this balance into our lives. And I think it's a good idea to recognize that this is true regardless of whether we're chef or we work for somebody else. It doesn't matter what work we do. I've yet to meet a parent who doesn't feel that they're out of balance at some point. And we're no different than that. At the same time, I think we have to keep in mind that if we're feeling balanced today, that can all change very quickly. Our lives aren't stagnant. There's always change going on. So what worked for you when you had a newborn doesn't work so well when they're mobile. And what works then doesn't work so well when they start preschool and start school. And if you don't have kids, what worked so well when you didn't have a dog, all of a sudden, Karen just had parties today. You're busy again. So anytime things change in our life, balance becomes an issue. So the greatest thing about balance, I think, is that it is our choice whether or not we're going to have it. We get to decide. The decisions that we make either keep us in balance or throw us off kilter. So it's not just about being a good scheduler, though. If it was, most of us wouldn't have the problem because we have the best iPhones and iPads and wrinkle-cut calendars, and we still find ourselves out of balance. That doesn't fix it, does it? What I found, though, is that it's about a healthy approach to life. It's about a positive attitude. It's about making peace with chaos. It doesn't always go away, but how we look at it can change how it turns out for us. So once we realize that we do have the control, and realize that we are exactly where we are today based on the decisions that we've made already, it's empowering to consider that if that's true, that means that the decisions I make today and tomorrow are going to make a difference in what's going to happen next. So wherever you are here today, and it's funny when we ask, are you feeling out of balance? It takes a lot to pull off at home to get here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And we're all feeling that we need to. So we're in a prime example of balance. We can make different choices to bring it back. Many consultants have shared with me over the years how hard it is to balance everything. So maybe something I share with you today doesn't necessarily help you, but I want you to be thinking in terms of you as a leader, because your consultants are going to be sharing some of these same things with you. They experience guilt for not spending enough time with their children, and this is why they do this. Or not spending enough time with their family or their spouse, or growing spiritually, or volunteering, or doing enough for personal enrichment. I'm of the mindset that we can have all of that, and that so much of it is how we perceive it and needs to be dealt with inside our own heads. So let me ask you, what do your children and the people that are close to you learn from you from watching how you run your business? Hopefully, they're learning from observation that you love your work. They're learning how to manage money. They're learning how to manage time. They're learning how to answer the phone professionally, or not answer it at all. Or to go to voicemail. They're learning how to go to the post office and the bank, how to shop for nutritious foods, how to pull off a delicious meal, how to run a successful business, how to set goals, how to celebrate achieving them, and how to pick yourself up when you don't. They're learning from you how to dress appropriately for the job. They're learning how to parent your future grandchildren by balancing their work and family by watching how you do it. They're learning how to be grateful for a commission check and using some of it to help someone else. Wow, that's a lot. Oh my gosh, how can I do all that? We can decide how we're going to do all of that. So our job then is to teach balance to our people closest to us and to model it for the people on our team. So I'm going to challenge you guys to be intentional with how you approach your everyday tasks. When you're having dinner with your family, have dinner with your family. let the voicemail pick up a call. If you're taking a walk with your spouse, be present in the moment. And when you're going to work, work. Because that's important too. Getting caught up in Facebook groups, internet surfing, chatting with another consultant friend, these things are all fun, but they're not income producing. And I find in my own life, these are the very things that push me off balance. Because it's so easy with a smartphone to stay plugged in, is it not?
Yeah.
So once we're aware of it, we can decide what we're going to do with that. Some things that can help you bring balance back in is to eliminate papers from your office. They're clutter. Guess what? My office is a disaster right now. I'm here with you guys too. I'm not perfect. But here's what I love about the changeover season. It's permission to get rid of consultant newsletters, which are all electronic. Time to shred sales receipts. Just do good backups of pampered partners. So every time we get a new season, it's like a time of renewal to get back on track in those sorts of things. Effectively using your time is going to create a more peaceful household, and I don't know anybody here who doesn't want that. Think about this. If your home life is completely chaotic on a show night or on a team meeting night, or is getting ready to come here, do you think your family wants to support you? Probably not. You're in control of that. If you have a plan for things to be smooth, and it's smooth when your family comes home at that time of day, that's often at their lowest point of energy too, it's going to impact how your family approaches your business, and it'll impact how you approach your own business. I'm not going to tell you to have your car packed by 9 and lunch or dinner made by noon. Those are the things you have to figure out for yourself. But be mindful of those times of day when your family might be crossing paths for just a few minutes for a quick meal or a snack or, hey, how are you? What does that look like at your house? Being stressed and running like a crazy person is not going to give your family the impression that this is a business that works well for you or will work well for them in the future. Sometimes we elevate people that are so busy they're on the go all the time. There's no prize for that. It doesn't create peace. It creates stress. It doesn't bring balance to your life. So before you start planning, okay, what's my next time management system going to be? You have to have a plan and some sort of goal. Otherwise, we all know you don't know what you're working towards. So keep in mind that this goal could change as your family changes. And, you have to be flexible to that. And that's part of the balance, too, is understanding that there's got to be some flexibility. So if, for example, you have a consultant that tells you that they want to do 1 show a week, you need to make it happen. If your goal is to do 2 shows a week, you need to make it happen. And you do the math. It's going to take me 3 hours or so to do that show. That means for every show I do, I should have an hour worth of office time planned to process the show, do some post-coaching, all of those things. That's the part where the scheduling comes in. Key pieces to teach your team and maybe to reinforce for yourselves. If you're still at the stage of life where you've got young kids at home, these things can be done during nap time. Nap time is not forgetting caught up what's on the DVR, playing on Facebook, taking a shower, making dinner, cleaning, whatever. To me, I'm out of that stage of life, but nap time was the only uninterrupted time I had. If you're beyond that, you know where your uninterrupted pockets of time are, or where you can create them. They don't have to be an hour, they could be 10 minutes. When I started my business, I was working a full-time job, about 60 hours a week. And so having balance was important then, just as it is today. I've done this business, like many of you, through many stages of life. Through moves, through pregnancy, through nursing, through having a young child at home. My son just started high school. And he's involved in activities like many of your family members are. So I know the challenges that many of the consultants face. And like many of you, my family's always lived far away. So calling grandma was not an option. Those of you who've experienced these same things, draw on your experiences to be able to coach your teams on how to bring balance. Because I'm pretty convinced, aside from consultants needing more bookings to stay, keep their businesses going, I think a big reason why consultants on our teams fall away is because of the balance issue. So I think we really need to think about this and how we model it and how we teach it. finish with bringing a few tips on different pieces that I have targeted in my own training on how to help not only myself but my team in bringing balance and dividing my experiences up in a few different categories between home, family, and business. On the home front, for someone on your team who might be challenged by having young kids at home and finding it difficult to find those pockets of time, something that I found really helpful is to have a mother's helper. At that stage in my life, there was a 11-year-old girl that lived across the street, and I would have her come over and play with Nick while I did things that I couldn't do when he needed me. As he got older, I had her stamping catalogs, and an 11-year-old girl doesn't need to be paid $10 an hour, so it's really kind of cool. The mom signed up, by the way, eventually. Other things on the home front, designating certain days for certain activities. Again, as you're coaching your team, this might not sound, it might not be obvious to them. Have a designated day for bathroom day, maybe, or a designated day for grocery day. That way you're not thinking about those things on a different day, and that can be helpful. This one I think is really key, especially in the line of work that we do. Having some sort of family meal plan with quick and easy meals on show nights. For me, it means pulling things out of the freezer, and you all have your ways of what you want, what a quick meal is for you. Maybe it's a crock pot, but that's a very simple thing. If dinner is not being assembled at that time of day where you're trying to get everything else together, that's really going to help. On the family front, plan your family time and make it a priority. And like I said before, when you're working, work, but when you're with your family, that's what you need to be doing. Model that and make it obvious to your family. Let them hear the phone ring and you not answer it. And say something like, you know, I'm with you right now, that call can wait. Or we're reading a book right now, because a little one will say, Mommy, don't you need to get the phone? Make a point to say, no, we're spending time together right now. So that's being intentional with what you're teaching, and it reinforces for you, it's okay that I'm not grabbing this right now. I really encourage you not to bend on this, during meals and time spent with your family. On the business side, I mentioned before a little bit about goal setting. Take control of that show schedule and work time. As leaders, I really feel strongly that we need to be picking at least 2 days each week to be doing cooking shows. And some of you will say, that's enough. If you really want to grow, I really believe you need to be doing 2 shows every week. And what I have found is that when there's set days, it brings balance because you're not all over the place with where you're doing shows. A Tuesday, Thursday, or Wednesday and Saturday afternoon, whatever those 2 need to be for you. That means your family can count on it. And there's something about balance that comes when expectations are there of when you're going to be gone. Something as simple as this. Post packets. As far out as we have a host special, that's how far out my host packets are made. So my November ones are getting ready to be put together as soon as I get home. So that means I do things in batches, and that is super helpful for whoever your mother's helper is or whoever it is that you have to do that or do it yourself. Send host packets all at once. Think about what it's like to put a packet together, send it to the mail, do this over and over again. That creates stress. So doing things in batches. If you're still sending out host postcards and host letters, those can be made out in a batch. And where the stamp goes, you put your date and sort them by date. Each day, you just pull what you need. You don't start that project over and over each day. This one, it took me a while to figure this one out. Maybe you're all doing this. Get it for deposit only stamp for those checks. You all knew that. And my husband finally convinced me, get an adding machine, so you've got an adding machine tape. That makes a big difference in how much time it takes. Have a variety of postage stamps to save trips to the post office. Batch up your host coaching. Sunday nights, I find, is a really good time to catch everybody. So once a week, you can do all of that. So you start to see a flow of things. Piggybacking activities. If you're doing 2 shows each week, or even 1 show each week, teach your consultants this as well as doing it yourself. Never ever go to a show alone. This will save you a coaching call. It will save you some time spent in new consultant training when that consultant is with you, riding to and from the show, watching the job done, and riding home with you. It's not just about learning the show, it's about watching. There's like show 101. Somebody who's getting ready to become a director, they're going to watch for other things on the show. So just because they can do a good show doesn't mean they shouldn't go watch you. They'll watch how you talk about advanced recruiting techniques, maybe. So use that time wisely. Obviously, use your car. And I'm going to suggest 2 different ways to use your car. Yes, you can listen to MP3s. We all know that. What if that's your only quiet moment of the day, and that's where you feed yourself? Then do it, and don't feel guilty about it. You need to keep yourself centered and nourished to be the wife, the mother, the friend, the consultant, the director that you want to be. And so you don't have to pack every second of your day with texts and training and reading something. Sometimes it's good to chill. And if the car is your place to do that, that's the place to do that. So maybe I've given you a few things to think about in terms of what you might be able to incorporate in your own life to bring balance, or maybe you've picked up something that you can share with your team. By no means do I have this figured out. It's an ongoing journey for all of us, and like I said, as soon as something changes, it becomes fluid again, and that's okay. So making the peace with the chaos is going to help. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have